Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my final thoughts on the Hazard model from Concept Knives designed by my good friend Steven Dunnick. Now, this portion of the video is going to be the quick and dirty. What does the quick and dirty consist of? Well, it is price. Do I love it? Do I hate it? Is it worth going out to get right at this moment? You don't want to hear nothing else of what I got to say about this thing. Price, 160 bucks. Do I love it? Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah, I do think it's worth buying. If it's something that you've been kind of sitting on and you like the idea of it, or you like the general shape, or you want to know, is it practical? Is it something that is day-to-day usable and carryable? Yes, it absolutely is. I love using this thing. It has been sharpened. On this channel, I do not review anything unless it's been sharpened multiple times, actually used and taken apart and cleaned, to make sure that it is just as nice on the inside as it is on the outside. So if you like that kind of stuff, want to hear more details and all the other stuff that I got to say, just go ahead down below and I'll show you. Well, that's pretty much it for the quick and dirty, but to do a couple little demonstrations, it has been freshly sharpened. I got a 16-degree edge on there, and as you can see, that edge doesn't look crazy by any means. It's not super wide, so that means that this is actually pretty thin behind the edge and quite performance oriented. I'm very, very happy with what I'm able to accomplish on my sharpening system. So you just hear that. Super, super smooth, just going like butter through the paper. Now the paper test isn't really demonstrating much, just the cleanliness of the edge itself, and that is to one's own finishing work. But a lot of people are mainly curious about how strong this locking mechanism is. I have had this thing fail on me a total of 0 times. And one of the demonstrations I did is spine whacking on this board right here. This is real freaking wood. And this is the damage that I did on the underside to this little piece right here. I like this piece because it has like a lot of character to it. So eventually it's gonna go up on the wall or something. This will be like a dedicated like spine whacking board or something. But yeah, so even with holding just the back of the blade, I mean, no funny business going on here. Hit it harder. There it goes. So I gotta hit it pretty significantly hard for it to actually disengage. And it's getting closer to the tip, but fully engaged in my hand, yeah, that is easily 10 times harder, but it's in my hand. And well, you're not gonna be using this knife without your hands unless you can, do stuff like that, magic tricks and shit like that. So while this is in your hand, it is technically sound and stable. If you're utilizing this in any sort of inappropriate grip position, like holding it back here, yes, it can and will disengage because it is not being properly used. So to kind of debunk a lot of the people that have seen this all over YouTube landia and are saying like, it's not practical, I'm here to say that every single one of you out there that's saying that this is not a realistic, practical day-to-day design, you are absolutely dead wrong. Now, you've probably been seeing a lot of people do cool like twirly things and stuff like that with it. So this is like little windmill, or I don't even know what the trick is actually called. If I'm utilizing this knife, I pull it out of my pocket, pluck it with my middle finger, and I have it pinched between my index and my thumb. I pluck out the lock, the blade comes swinging out, I close it in my hand, and I use the damn knife. And then what do? I pluck it again, it falls down, I close it, I put it in my pocket. There is a legitimate hardened detent ball right there, corresponding with a spot right there. So honestly, a pretty safe design. It's just something you have to get used to using. If you are not an individual that has the best hand-eye coordination, or maybe your dexterity is lacking because of age or an injury or some sort of condition, then yeah, you probably shouldn't get something like this. But don't call it impractical or unsafe just because you can't do it, because clearly there are plenty of people that can utilize this knife just fine. I am I have zero affiliation or practice with Balisong butterfly knives. I have never cared for that side of the hobby. In fact, I've gone as far as kind of poking fun because I think it's kind of silly. But having something like this, it is definitely bridging the gap mentally for me. But you know where my fingers are at? Back here. Nowhere near the blade, technically. So yeah, this is absolutely a safe and reasonable design, which is one of my favorite things about it. So we're gonna go down here in a sec and I'll show you some specs, do some size comparison, and just wrap it up. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, this is a reasonably sized knife for sure. If you look at this next to a full-size Sebenza 31, it's basically the same exact size. Next up, we got the Sencut Glide Strike. Manix 2 lightweight, about the same size. Civivi Vision FG, a little bit shorter. Predator by CMB Made Knives. CGRB Pyrite Light. Just might I add, an absolute cherry on top of the whole damn thing is that it is all T8 construction. A literal boatload of T8s, but you know what? We got all T8s. I'd put this lock in with the strength of the Chris Reeve Integral Lock, the frame lock, right? A liner lock. We got the ball lock by Spyderco. We got the crossbar lock here represented on the Predator. But I'm putting this lock up there with any average day-to-day locking mechanism. So I genuinely don't think that somebody who is willing and has the fidgety dexterity that gets this, I don't think anybody's going to feel like this is actually an unsafe design once they kind of get used to how to operate it. If you hit with pretty significant force on the spine and you're pinching it back here, which is obviously a very inappropriate move, there is not a single task on this beautiful earth that you will ever need to do this with your knife. So that's out of the question, right? While you have this thing in hand, it's not going to go anywhere. If there is ever a case where you end up loosening your grip, well, the knife is going to fall out of your hand before it ever gets a chance to actually disengage and you lose a finger or anything like that. So I think that a lot of the fear and a lot of the hype behind this knife was just kind of made up a little bit by people who just don't really know. This thing's got some weight to it for sure. Now, was there any sort of effort put in for milling and weight relieving? Absolutely. Could there have been more? Absolutely. But you know, it is what it is. I can say that I'm sure there's going to be different variations of this. We may see some things in carbon fiber. We may start seeing some things in budget formation. 5 ounces, pretty sweet. Honestly, this is pretty sweet. Now, what is holding this in is obviously this screw right here, accessible via these 2 T8s. Yes, you are going to need, 2 drivers, or maybe even like the Skiff's little bit driver tool if you want to get one of those tools. If you do want to get like the finger bit tool that they have, it's milled out of aluminum, of course made in the US, and you can use my discount code JTT10 if you want to pick that up. And again, if you want to use that for skiffs, for thick washers or bearings, for other knives in your collection other than Kansept, then you're more than welcome to use that discount code. Any little bit helps nowadays, right? But going back to this thing, if you look at this right here, these 2 plates are titanium on the outside. There is a post in between, a threaded post, but that post also serves as a purpose to keeping the spring that's spring loading the detent ball. Now let me see if I can actually zoom in here to demonstrate. We're pretty darn close, but you'll see that I can actually squish that ceramic detent ball because it is spring loaded. So the wear and tear on this ceramic detent ball would be significantly less than realistically any other design out there, even double detent systems on like slip joints and stuff like that. So I think that that is absolutely ingenious, and that's something that's baked into this design to where the average person isn't going to know that. And majority of the other channels, I don't think anybody else has actually shown that off. Dismantling this knife, taking it apart, and showing the internals. If I can pull up a piece, I'll put it in right now to share with you guys. So this is an internal look at the hazard. You can see here on the scales that because there is a gap left for the bar to swing, it does leave these marks. That's completely natural. This is a front side scale. These are the race hardened steel washers. Here is the bar itself. The blade. Pivot. Bearings. Here's the other side, it's clip side. So this is the component that holds hardened steel, not hardened steel, but the ceramic detent ball right there in this hardened steel piece. So if you were to pull this out, being held in by there, and this little pin right there, there's a hole that's tapped all the way through to set that little spring that's in there, keeping this thing spring loaded. So there. Pull this off just to show you guys. You need like a toothpick or something to get it set. Be very careful when you pull this out because the spring goes loose. If you do this, should be able to get that thing to come out. Yeah, there's the ball right there. It'll go through all the way, but it's not going all the way. Yeah. I value this, and I will put this thing through anything that I would put any other knife through in my collection. Again, so if your main concern, the one thing holding you back from picking up the hazard model, and again, the name it's just supposed to be funny. It's supposed to fit the bill, and you know, kind of be that not so mysterious, but that kind of like ooh, kind of dangerous, you know, bladed object that kind of flip flops all over the place, and you can do cool tricks with. It's really just marketing and having some fun, and I think that that is something we need more of in this hobby. We need people that don't take themselves too seriously, that love the hobby for what is. One little nitpick on this, and it was a super easy workaround. There are actually multiple workarounds to this. The clip, right? It's a cool looking clip. It works. I think it fits the build. It doesn't, like, there's nothing realistically wrong with the look of the clip. It's more of the functionality of the clip. And if you look at it down here, you can see that the pinch point is actually damn near in the middle of the slide in as well as the release. So because it is on the shorter side, it is a very stout, very strong pocket clip. All I had to do was just to bend it up a little bit. It does now float above the scale, and honestly, I could probably slide like a piece of paper through it. Yeah, so you can see there, with zero resistance, a piece of paper sliding through it. Can I do a folded piece of paper? Okay, now there's actually some resistance. So it was just that much. I kid you not. Just the thickness of 2 freaking pieces of paper. That's all I had to tweak the pocket clip to fit in all of my pants. Yeah, that was really the only adjustment I had to do. And the only gripe that I could possibly come up with is that it wasn't perfect from the factory, which you know, that's obviously eye-rolling levels of nitpickiness. So there realistically isn't anything wrong with it. I don't think that it is sharp. There is nothing on this entire design that was glazed over by any means. Everything is very well softened up. That is something that could be concerning to some people. The knife does have a fully bead blasted handle here. There is essentially no texturing on this. I personally don't mind it. There is going to be some specialty variations, hopefully, at Blade Show Utah 2025. It is this weekend, so I will be posting this video sometime here in the weekday. So whoever sees this and is planning to go to Blade Show Salt Lake City, Utah, so possibly you'll see some specialty variations of this. I'd say snag them, because Kansept is one of those companies that does like specialty stuff and doesn't tell anybody about it, and it's kind of shitty. And then yeah, whatever. But I really am rooting for this thing. I genuinely enjoy it. I hope to see some affordable, much more affordable. I'm talking budget, and on this channel, budget is $100 and under. That's the way the world works around me. That is my budget. So I think that something like this could very easily be had for under $100 if they change up the materials that are present. If they do something that's just G10, because obviously it would be really easy to do something like this in G10, and then have, and I don't know, like they can just do D2, I guess. I think that'd be fine. I think it would be pretty sweet to see a wire pocket clip, and if a wire pocket clip is on there, I think it would be very much appreciated if the packaging came with an extra wire pocket clip, just because that is typically a lot of people's concern when it comes to wire pocket clips. But I think that that'd be a pretty sweet build to have, because you can be able to flip it on either side without really detracting from the function and the usability of this wonderful knife. I've been messing with it with my right hand, but here on my left hand, clearly it's just fine. So yeah. But that is pretty much it. The Hazard model, again, I will have a link down to Kansept Knives. It is an affiliate link, so you will be supporting the channel if you care to do so. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I play more videos and content coming your guys' way. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.